personal tours in the last year, and I don't know how many people have come and done their own thing here, but it's just an amazing opportunity to showcase hope to the hopeless, and that's the whole idea. So really we started with this blank piece of paper, rock hard soil. That soil color that you see under your feet there, it's exactly the same as the soil that we planted in. There's no difference. It is not soil. If you look at it, it's actually just it's actually beach sand. It has no texture, it's got no structure, and the only thing that it has in the top layers, in the top 20 centimeters, has got some organic material. So if you take our soil and you put it in a glass, the darker looking soil, and you put it in a glass and you shake it up, and then you pour the water out, at the bottom of that glass is pure beach sand. So there's no soil here. Alright, so basically most of Port Elizabeth is like that. It's from when the tectonic plates in Africa moved upwards, the seaboard moved back, and so what we're sitting on is what this was all under seawater at some point in the history of Port Elizabeth. So the first things that we did was we laid out our permanent pegs, and I want to really mark that out for you in your mind. This thing here, that little white peg, is fundamental to the success of a Farming God's Way garden. We practice permanence, and that means that we will plant in the same bands year after year after year. Where I'm standing here now, on the upslope side of this permanent peg, is a traffic area. This is where any compaction that's going to happen in the garden is going to happen here. Any walking in the garden happens there. We never walk in the row, we don't walk across the rows. We walk down the line. We always manage line upon line. We always work line upon line. And so permanence is absolutely fundamentally important. What we're doing in permanence is we're building up one particular area, and this double line here, that's about a 25 centimeter band of inputs that go into that area. We don't worry about what happens in this area or that area here. So we're working that area, we're building soil structure there, building soil organic matter, building soil fertility, we're improving soil microbial life in that particular area. We don't mix it up. We don't plant here and the next year go and plant over there. Not interested. I really do not care about the soil fertility in this particular place. Okay. So the only thing happens there is we put a lot of blanket on. So that's the first thing to take note of. The intervals between these permanent pegs are 75 centimeters apart. In the system of a greater system of vegetable production, there's many models, many spacings, all those kinds of things. But from my experience and working with the processes that we use in Farming God's Way, the 75s are the best system to be able to operate on. And I'll explain that to you as we go down the line. So we put permanent pegs down this side, permanent pegs down the whole other flank, and then we started to prepare. Sorry, before that, we divide this garden into three portions. Portion A, B, and C. So what we did in the top was we planted our fruit crops in the first portion in last season, in the autumn planting. The second portion was the leaf crops, and the third portion was the root crops. So every 6 months on a 6-monthly cycle, autumn with vegetables, it's an autumn and a spring cycle, we rotate. So now the fruit crops for our spring planting went into portion B, and the leaf crops in the spring planting went down to portion C, and the root crops came from portion C back up to portion A. So we will do the same now as we go into our March autumn plantings. As soon as these crops come out, so it will be like over a 6 to 6 week period, the crops that as they staggeredly come out, they will move into, these root crops will move into portion B, and the fruit crops will in the 6-monthly cycle move in to portion C, and the leaf crops as over that 6-week period will move back up to portion A. And then as we come to the autumn plantings of next year, we'll basically be back into sync. So effectively we get an 18-month period where that crop, that family, that grouping of crops, the fruit, leaf and roots, never come back for 18 months. There'll be a break. So breaking the disease cycles, mixing up the nutrient requirements of particular crops, helping to restructure soil. There's many benefits to a rotational principle, but that's what we try and emulate in Farming God's Way, because that's what we see our Father doing. So it's not because the textbook says that. The Bible says we need to go to the Creator God. We need to go to the one who holds it all together. When we go to his creation, what do we see? We see a heavy mulch cover on the surface of the ground. What do you see? Heavy mulch cover on the surface of the ground. It's looking a little bit thin now, just because of the drought. We're struggling to find enough grass to bring into our garden. It's a big garden. So, but in God's creation, you go and dig under the forest canopy, man. That blanket is up to 12 centimeters deep in mature systems. It's made up of plant leaf, twigs, and fruits falling from the tree canopy and the various canopy levels, and they lie on the surface of the ground, gradually decomposing, releasing organic material in its own steady state of composting. It takes years, sometimes 3 years, for the top layers to eventually work their way through to the bottom layers. So like in a mature system, you can find fresh leaves, fruits and twigs in the top layer, and you can find decomposing material, but you can still identify them in the second layer. In the third layer you'll still find some material, but it's all dark organic matter there. And then inside that you find healthy soils. How did God design plants to feed? Anybody got an idea? Hazard a guess. How did God design? Plants need food to survive, don't they? How did God design them to feed? Yeah, decomposing material around them. So when God made the garden in the east of Eden, do you think it's a different God to today? He made the plant. He made this beetroot plant here. He made this plant to feed, didn't he? So when he made it, do you think he had a plan of how that plant should be fed? What do you think? Yes. Yeah, he did. He's the creator. He knows exactly what that plant needs, how it should grow. So what does he do? He allows these decomposing materials to release nutrients, feeding a plant from the top, not from the bottom. What does man decide? No, we need to plow, we need to invert the soil, and then we need to take and then we need to work the material, the plant food, into a significant depth to be able to feed a plant. Does that conflict with God's ways?
It does.
Absolutely. And these are the fundamentals, that the difference between farming God's way and conventional practices is everything about conventional practices, man leaning on his own understanding. Think about weeds. You see a lot of weeds in here, by the way. Eh? How many people work in this garden? Anybody want to hazard a guess? 10, 3,
or person.
One. Who's the one? How many days a week do I let you come and work in the garden, Asher? 2 or 3 days a week. 2 or 3 days a week. There he is. This is his garden. What you see here, it's the work of his hands. So yes, we have interventions with planting. We're going to plant a row, bring 2 ladies to help plant a line. But the management of this garden is done by one guy, maximum 3 days a week. Because one day is that the farming God's ahead of